Hi, I'm Hayden.
Hi, I'm Graham, we're from Panther the Zoo. So Panther the Zoo started kind of, I guess, as just me mucking around. I was in another band and I actually just really liked the name because I'd always wanted to use my name.
Because Panther's your real surname.
Panther's my real surname.
Yeah.
Should have brought my passport. And the first band I was in didn't like the idea of being the zoo. So I'd been sort of messing around with some stuff with a guy called Damien Golfinopoulos, who's the shortest producer in the world, who had kind of just encouraged me to let my ideas run and play with something solo. And so we came up with this song called Voices, which somehow ended up on the radio. None of that was intentional. And that's when I kind of realised that it was something I wanted to play more with. But I didn't really know what I was doing. I've never been a particularly technically sound with music. I kind of, I think I work best with other people to bounce ideas off. And I happened to be talking to Hayden in a bar one night, and had no idea that he was a musician. I had no idea that he was in the Brunettes and all of that. It's kind of, I think I was just lamenting not having anyone to play with, not having any friends. Not having anyone to play with, and he was keen, and sort of slowly came out that he was not only keen, he was actually really talented. So we had a few kind of jams, just the two of us, and realised that we could actually turn it into a real band.
So yeah, when we met, Graham had already been kind of working away on this EP, which was definitely like, I guess one of the reasons he used the name Panther the Zoo was that it was a kind of massive collaboration of a whole lot of people, and he'd almost got there actually with both Damien and with Bob Frisbee, and so when I kind of joined up, I just did a few extra bits and pieces and kind of help finish it off. And
Quite a lot of bits and pieces.
Yeah, I guess so, a few. And then yeah, the EP was done, and we had to start thinking about being a band. And at that point we had John Parker, from who I had also played with in the Brunettes, playing drums, and so we kind of started playing a few live shows, but a lot different to now. That was kind of more a bit quieter, but more acoustic. Basically, just it sounded a lot more like what the EP sounded like. If anyone's heard that,
I think it was, it was still in those early stages. It was still something we kind of worked the music out in the studio, and then thought, okay, how can we put this together live? Whereas I think kind of what we've slowly headed towards is kind of the band's now where things start, which is really cool. I mean, there's still some of the songs are still things I've written years ago or whatever and dug up and what have you, but there's certainly there's one track that we're about to come out with as a single that pretty much just happened as a band kind of thing. And there's something about that approach, even if it's old songs, that you're just kind of giving that band feel to it. Something about that I'm finding really exciting, and it's made the whole recording process easier as well, because you have the sound, you just got to get it down. I like playing around in the studio, but I also really like that kind of real band thing. It makes it so much easier. And it's made, I mean, our live show is just, we've expanded the lineup fairly recently with Tono of Tono fame. It's funny because we had the three-piece thing going on. We had Alistair Deverick as our drummer for quite a while as well, who's now kind of mainly doing Ruby Sun stuff. And then John came back, and we still had this kind of, we had this thing where we had these two great drummers, but we didn't have anyone else to do the other stuff. And Tono kept kind of saying, oh yeah, I can play that bit and I can play that bit. And we sort of said, oh okay, we'll give it a go, and it's just awesome. It's so good. And just that fourth person, I think when people, if anyone's seen us live recently or seeing us without coming tour, I think if they'd seen the earlier stuff, they'd be pretty surprised.
Yeah, towards the end of 2009, once we'd kind of played a few shows with the EP out and had sold a few copies of the EP, we started kind of starting to record some new songs for. At that stage, it wasn't really an album. We kind of like it was half an album, so we were wanting to aim for an album, but we kind of had the safety net of maybe just releasing it as an EP in the back of our minds. But that was still probably still in the same style as the EP. At that stage, it was quite studio based, and they were kind of older songs that Graham had already written that we kind of work on a little bit, but were mostly kind of were pre-written. And then in 2010, we both got the opportunity to go away with different bands overseas. So I went away with Lawrence Arabia in January 2010, and then Graham went away with the Ruby Suns later on in the year as well. And so we basically spent most of 2010 away and not playing any Panther the Zoo shows. Graham played some overseas. We're in some places that he found himself. Where
I had one instance where we turned up to, the Ruby Suns turned up to, I think it was Vienna, to play a show, and somehow, I don't know how, somehow Panther the Zoo was on the bill. It was, Ryan had no idea how that happened. And it wasn't a big deal at all because it was it wasn't a massive show or anything. But so I played a solo show. That was fun. It was really weird.
But yeah, like we spent most of the year not working on the album and not playing any shows. And I don't know. I guess in a lot of instances that could have been quite a bad thing. But actually, like we've kind of realised now that it's actually been a really good thing for our music and for the album. It gave us a lot of kind of distance. I guess when you're recording an album, and a lot of bands will say this, is that you lose all perspective after a while, and you find it really hard to kind of you sometimes you kind of like you might hear things that you don't like or that aren't quite there, but you can't quite tell what they are. And you kind of get in these kind of weird ruts sometimes, or sometimes you just end up just kind of hating things that you've done. We didn't quite get to like anything quite that dire, but it was definitely a really positive thing for us both to kind of go away and to have these like pretty amazing experiences traveling with other bands and getting quite good at playing as well, and getting a lot of advice from the people in those bands as well. We've been Panther the Zoo. Thanks for watching, and you should buy our album, which comes out on August the 29th. It looks like that. Well, it doesn't look like that. That's just the album art, but you can get it at pantherandthezoo.com, or we'll probably put some CDs in the store.
Yep. And also at our shows, beginning 1st of September, doing a little tour. Thanks for watching Cheese on Toast TV.